Welcome to the Why Not Us podcast. We're just a few dudes navigating life and talking about it. Thanks for listening.
And I thought you couldn't be here, Jordan. You said, I'm out. I'm like, what?
He's
I'm
out of the
getting shower
shower.
now. Okay, start
Oh,
like
I thought
Out
you
of the
said
shower.
I'm out. I'm out of the shower. Like I'm ready to
Oh,
go.
I'm so
Hey,
confused, dude.
I
So
was
confused.
tracking so hard with you, Jordan. I knew exactly what you were trying to
Oh,
say.
man. It took me 6 minutes to take a shower. I don't need that much time.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I thought I was confused. I was like, oh, 9:40. I'm right on time. It's 9:41.
Yeah, and it's only the most important episode of our careers here at Why Not Us, and you're late. So
Why is it the most important episode?
it's episode 30, gentlemen.
Oh, number 30. We made it.
30.
And we are great at this. We are so good. And tonight's episode is going to be particularly good. Well, it's tonight for us, but when you hear it or listen to it, it will be during the day, maybe on your, trip to work in the morning or trip back from work. But obviously, Joey took a very long trip last week to California, helping a buddy out, Robbie Giorgiani. And a lot of people have been asking about this story. We got DM'd like crazy. A lot of people encouraging Joey, asking a lot of questions of like, what's going on? Joey, why the heck are you doing this? So what we thought we would do is bring Robbie on the show tonight, and we will just go through every single detail of the trip. And I think it's going to be great. And I will say, I told Jordan before we started recording here that I have not seen or spoke to Robbie since the last time we went to the Bristol race.
I was going to say, yeah, when was the last time you saw him? I don't even know if Jordan even knows him.
Yeah,
You met him once? Maybe?
Luke's wedding and bachelor party.
Oh, yeah, duh, that. And then I think you would have met him the time they all came to Blacksburg shortly after my mom passed away. Is the first time. That was the time I was thinking of, Jordan.
Yes.
Oh, duh.
I've been like a handful of times. I don't think he was at the casino we went for that opening night, was he?
No, he wouldn't have been there. So.
Okay. Yeah, 3 times.
Dude, you got a haircut today, man.
Oh, I see that, man.
I was going to say,
you.
were you at the barber? Is that why you're so late?
Yeah, dude, look at this. We got a lot of hair coming
got
back here.
Got a lot of real estate on the front, on
Right?
the forehead there.
No, we had off today. General election day here in the city. You know, apparently that's not a thing in other places in the country, according to Jordan. So,
you got
well,
a lot of
on the same schedule.
Did you get a lot of personal?
But you still
stuff
could have.
done
I think today still could have been a primary election day for anybody, Jordan. I don't know what.
No, I just didn't have any in my city.
Got it.
Not everybody's on the same schedule, I guess.
But sorry, we're digressing here. Yeah, I mean, we're excited to have Robbie on here in a little bit, and yeah, he started his job yesterday, so that'll be interesting to see if he will tell us anything about that. But yeah, Jones, that's great that you haven't seen him. I mean, how many years do you think it's been?
Oh my gosh, when did we go last? Like 2014 or something? 13.
Jordan probably would now make the list of people that were.
I think it was.
Let me think back. Was I working for
Radford?
Was I working for Alltech one of the years that we went?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were.
So it had to be between like 2014 and 2019. So probably like 2015 was the last year we went.
I would think so, somewhere around there.
Unbelievable. It just
2016 was the football game, which you guys went to, right?
Yeah, Robbie wasn't there though, I don't think.
I'm saying, like, when was the race before that?
Jones, Robbie was there at the football game with me, so I don't know. We would have seen you then if that's the case. Did you go to that Bristol, that Tennessee Virginia Tech game, Jones?
We played spike ball, and the Collies
well, then Robbie
really
was there.
Ran the train on us.
Robbie was there then.
Okay.
But he might not have been with us. I know he and I were together because he and I have photos together at that game.
I wasn't even there, and I'm piecing this together for you guys.
Right?
We're in shambles with our memories here, folks.
And I'm digressing again. Jordan, are you watching the Western Conference Finals game? Shot clock's on the floor. The shot clocks aren't working.
Yes.
I texted you already. I texted our facilities guy, Duquesne. I texted my dad. Worst nightmare for a facilities guy.
Text Neil about that.
Worst nightmare.
Need to bring him on the pod and interview him about it.
Dude, Jones, you're always supposed to have a backup set of shot clocks and that are workable. And if they don't work, they go on the floor. Like if your real shot clocks don't work. So the shot clocks are currently on the floor of a major basketball game in the United States. Can't make that up.
Wow. That is just incredible. Incredible. What
You know
else?
what Ronan
Go
say,
ahead.
bro? Wouldn't happen in the Oracle. Wouldn't happen in the Oracle.
By the
Is it
way,
Is it Oracle or is it something else now that it's new? I can't remember.
I thought it was Oracle. Maybe it's
I think
not.
you're right. No, I think you're right. That's what I'm asking. I'm like, I don't even know anymore.
by the way, when is Cronin coming on the show?
He's in the hopper too, man. We've got a couple guests.
In
We
the
don't want to ruin all our guests.
hopper. Oh,
I've
we've got
asked him.
so many
I've already
guests.
asked him, so he said he's interested. So he would come on.
Our calendar is like getting stacked right now with people.
Well, we said 30. Like I said, we said 30 episodes. We started having guests
We
on.
did.
I think people will appreciate the randomness and uniqueness of the different people we have on. And I think for our listeners out there who are awesome people that do listen every week, even though most people don't think people do, I promise you, I get texts every week. There are people that they know, so it is, or that they loosely know. So it is like kind of cool for them to like hear about their lives, hear what they're up to.
Yeah.
So that's what was, as Jones, as you said, people DMing us. I'm not great at the DM, so I didn't quite understand what was going on. I think probably one of us, we all have access to the Instagram account. So like, I think one of us probably saw them and then I didn't see any of them. And then I see them like 2 days later. I'm like, Jones probably read them and didn't tell me, or Jones probably read them and didn't respond to them. So I'm the only one. I'm like, man, these people are getting ghosted.
No, I responded to Charmer. So he messaged us and he was like, I have so many questions, Joey. Why are you doing this? Why are you going across the country like every single week? I need so many details. And I was like, Charmer, lucky for you, we're going to be doing a full episode with Giorgiani next week, and you're going to get every single detail. So he's on the edge of his seat waiting on this.
Good. Well, and guys, I haven't said this yet, but I'm booked another trip from Houston again. So I got 4 of those coming.
Oh, the content train is coming, baby.
Yeah, I got another one just from Houston to Pittsburgh again coming Memorial Day weekend. I locked in that this weekend.
What is this?
What's that? For her aunt this time. She doesn't want to drive.
This is incredible.
There's a dog. There's a dog.
The grandfather came back this last time.
Yeah, that was for the grandparents. This is for the people who live down there. They're moving back here. The husband's going to stay down there and still do his job, but she doesn't want to be down there in the summer with the kids by herself as well, because she has a full-time job as well.
I wouldn't want to be in Texas in the summer either, but
well, exactly. So she it was like, I didn't think she was serious about it. And then she texts me like 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, all right, let me look at it. And then I'm like, all right. And then she's like, well, you're gonna have to take the dog, which is a concern for me because the dog is older. And it's a rescue dog. And it's been abused in the past. But it's an awesome pup. And we've taken care of it during COVID anyway. So it's not like I'm unfamiliar with this animal, but I'm like, if this thing passes away on me, I'll never hear the end of it.
How old is the dog?
That's unclear, Jordan. It's 14, 15, but it unfortunately its previous owners poured acid on its back. Like it's got a whole
oh my gosh.
Yeah, you hate seeing this stuff when that stuff happens. It was supposed to be it's like a pit bull mix, but it's not a pit bull at all. It's like the weeniest dog ever. But it's just older, doesn't get around well. Goes to the bathroom.
A National Lampoon's thing happened to you, like when they lost Edna at some point on the way to Wally.
And dude, I've already in my mind tried to my flight's first thing Sunday morning. So I'm going to get down there probably around 11, 12 o'clock and hit the road right away is the goal. Part of me wants to try to do 20 hours straight, but I know it's not a great idea just because the dog, that's my concern. I don't want to have to get a hotel room with this dog, but we had a good practice with that on this trip. So that was what's making me more comfortable to do this.
You're going to have potty breaks if this dog's that old.
Well, exactly. And that's the thing, man. Robbie's 2 dogs barely, we stopped at Love's, man. We'll talk about it, but Love's are the best, dude. They have dog stops for them all over the place. At one point I'm standing there in the Love's bathroom, outside of Love's bathroom, looking at the map of the United States where all the Loves are. And I'm like, oh, we just went by that one, all of them, man. It was
That's
unbelievable.
Crazy. Apparently a couple of those are just incredible.
Yeah, they just do a good job with regards to pets. It's got a small dog park and a big dog park for both dogs.
Really cool.
Yeah.
What about a
snake? Mad you didn't stop at the
park?
Iowa 80 truck stop.
Wait, which one? What, Jordan?
The Iowa 80 truck stop, dude. That's the largest one in the world. That's world renowned.
See, we stopped in Iowa, and I sent you that photo, but I don't know if it was that one we stopped
No,
at.
you passed it in one of your videos, like just past the world's largest truck stop.
Yeah,
80 is like
I
world
did.
renowned.
Yes, I did. You're right. I had no idea. You see
Yeah.
these things are tourist traps. But Jones, what were you saying?
I said, was there a snake park?
No snake park for I don't know this. What I tell the snake's name was. It's always
Can't
Pinchy to
remember.
me. That was always Robbie's snake in college. So he, I guess, calls it that, but it really isn't its name anymore.
Just change your snake's name. You know,
Well, it's not important to him, I guess. Just cracking me up, man. Cracking me up. Like I said, we'll rehash some of the trip. We had a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait to. I cannot wait to hear this because I only know like what happened on Insta. But I think we need to come up with some sort of hashtag with these trips because it's gaining
And
some steam.
Remember, I asked that early on for you guys, and I don't know if it's anything good and that's the thing. I need to probably do a better job of like filming things other than like.
No, you're doing great. Don't change a thing.
But it's hard, right? Like it's hard to like first off
is.
use the phone to like flip. I don't think the phone can't flip around and film me at the same time, right?
Are you doing yeah, you can film yourself like if you flip the camera around. You got a front facing camera on your phone?
Yeah, but like I can't like press a button while I'm filming the front, like filming the road and then film myself, right?
You can switch back and forth.
I
Is
got
that
no
what
idea.
you're asking?
Yeah, but I'm filming these, usually one all. Usually don't do a second take ever. And then I shouldn't say I haven't, but I have done like one or two takes, but on like probably 1 or 2 days. But I'm usually off the cuff right away. But I don't know. I just film it with the camera app, like so I don't know if it lets me do that, Jones, or I'm not find somewhere, or maybe I need to be on Snapchat or I don't know. Or Instagram. I don't know.
If you film like within the Instagram app, so if you're filming just like on your iPhone or whatever on video, you can't flip around your camera like mid film.
So that's what I'm doing.
I believe if you do it within the Instagram app, you can do that. Or like you said, you could film it in Snapchat or something and then download the video and then, upload it from there. But
that's my problem.
Less steps, the better for you probably. So we'll figure out the best solution.
Well, that and I'm driving, so I'm trying to also make safety and like make sure I'm not around anybody in traffic.
Yeah, safety first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
let's remember that.
So, but yeah, guys, it was great, and like I said, I think I'm locked in for another one here. I've already booked the flight. So she upped the pay. She upped the pay, guys. What do you want me to do?
You did such a good job.
You need to bankroll this shit.
Yeah, I mean, like
this is a new career path for you.
So, and this one I want.
Look at you, you little entrepreneur, a little startup.
No days off taken on this one either. So it's going to be Sunday and then Memorial Day. So no one should be traveling on Memorial Day, I imagine. So hopefully the roads will be, pretty free. It's just the dog and having to stop every couple hours is my concern. So
my dog's going crazy. I don't know if you heard that bark or not. All right. Well, we've got Robbie coming on in just a couple minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to hear the full story of Joey and Robbie on their trip to California, and this is going to be epic. So don't click off. Stick around. If you're on YouTube, you're going to want to see it. So if you're on Spotify, head to YouTube. So stick around. We'll be right back with Robbie Giorgiani, and we're going to talk about Joey's trip to California. Stand by.
There
he is. He's
in. Privacy camera. I had to set it up. Sorry.
Dude, Robbie, what is up, man?
Well, that's pretty much par for the course for the past week. Nothing works. Can't find anything in the new house. Actually, the trip with Joey was clearly the highlight of the past couple weeks because me and him just kind of meshed. Everything worked. Whereas here, I mean, every single camera privacy was on except for Zoom for some reason, even though I've used Zoom before. Sorry.
That's all right, man. Well, we've had a lot of people that have DM'd us from Joey's trip because of course he was on the story like the whole trip. So we had a lot of people DM us and they were like, what is Joey doing going on all these trips? Why are he and Robbie going all the way to California? So I was like, you know what? We should just have you on and let's go through all the details of the trip. And also, it's been years since I've seen you, which this is great that we're chatting right now.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for it's good to see you too.
Yeah, and congratulations, by the way. Big deal.
Thank you. Yep,
Yeah.
2 days in.
Yeah. So maybe before we start, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So Rob Giorgiani was in German Club with Joey, and that's how we met. I remember Joey being extremely upset with me as a probie for giving him a Coors Light when he asked for a Coors Heavy. But but he actually turned out to be a great guy. No, so anyways, moved to California a week ago with Joey. Moved my wife Courtney and 2 dogs out here, a few houseplants, a snake named Kirby, and
That's
our 5 kids.
oh my gosh. I just cannot get over that. That's a lot. How do you manage all that?
Courtney. Thank God for Courtney. I do my best when I'm here, but I work full time. So weekends I get a taste of it, and on the cruise I got a taste of it. Oh my gosh,
Oh man.
she does a lot.
5 kids. We had our first one. So he is coming up on a year old. He's a little over 11 months old. So yeah, 1 is quite a bit of work. So I can't imagine 5.
They start to hang out with each other
Yeah.
after 3. Then you're more hurting cats and preventing damage to any one of them than you are like trying to instill life lessons and values. You just don't have time for that. They got to figure it out.
Oh gosh.
I love it.
love
Dude,
that.
a little bit about how you have them very structured a little bit before we got on here, Robbie, how the girls know when the light comes on in their room or when it's 7 o'clock bedtime, you guys have it all down to a science pretty much.
Courtney almost forgot to say it today, but yeah, their sound machines are light up and then they turn white at 7 a.m. So as we walked out of Aubrey and Everly's room, they just go bananas, like, and Courtney walks back in and says, I'll see you when the light turns. And they go white, like regiment. And then like, okay, now they can sleep. Now they're comfortable. But yeah, I mean, it's 7 o'clock here and they're all asleep. So
That's so good, man. Structure is so important. We try to get Felix down at 7 or before, and it's been, he's handled it pretty well.
yeah, do you do any secrets? Like, do you have any gadgets or you just put them in the crib?
With sound machine, of course. We try to do the last feed as close to bedtime as possible, to set him up for success. So no real secrets or tricks or anything. We have a little, lovey that we give him. We call him Bear.
Yeah.
Well, we call him Bear, so that keeps him comforted. All right, let's dive into the trip. Joey, where are you?
Yeah, so I guess I don't know, Robbie. What you and I were on the phone, maybe, or you were telling me or texting me we moved to Georgia, or you were moving to California. Is that how it started?
So we were just chit chatting.
Yeah.
And what have you been up to? What are you doing? And you told me that you had recently driven from Pittsburgh to New Orleans for your Houston. Thanks for Houston for your uncle's car. And I was just listening to it and like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then, like I just had a conversation with Courtney. What were you talking about? Oh, I was talking to Joey. He did this, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't think of it, but she goes, hey, would Joey want to drive a car with you? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe he would. I mean, apparently he's got a side gig of driving vehicles.
He's an entrepreneur. Look at him. 3 trips already.
Yeah. So
and initially you told me it was just going to be me, right? It was just going to be me driving the car. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had to see if you were open to it.
Sure.
And you were. You said immediately yes. So then we planned a bunch of logistics. And then a week later, I said, hey, just to confirm, are you still in? And you started a waffle. And I got very concerned because the the wheels were, what is it, from the Big Lebowski? Like, things are in motion, dude. So I was like, whoa, Joey, like, I will happily drive one with you. We have 2 cars. And then Joey came back around and the rest is history.
Yeah, and then I think you booked our flight. My flight, I was at work, and we booked the flights pretty quickly once we decided we were doing it. And yeah, we were ready to rock and roll. And Joey flies in first thing Saturday morning. I guess it's been almost 10 days now, almost since we took up the trek.
Yeah, we left. You've landed 7:33 scheduled into Dulles.
Mm-hmm.
I had parked a car there the prior night in long-term parking. So then I drove the second car there so that there'd be 2 cars and only 2 drivers, so we didn't have to mess around with back and forth.
Which was
picked you up at arrivals. Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. So it was you, Courtney, your wife, all 5 kids, Joey, 2 dogs, a snake, apparently, Kirby.
Oh, so I'm sorry. So part of whenever you move, they don't move everything. Like they don't move opened liquor. They don't move like pesticides. They don't move propane. So Joey was driving with all the explosives and yeah, so I had the houseplants, the dogs, and then no, Courtney and the kids. My sister actually flew in also and flew with Courtney and the kids, 2 lap babies and the kids.
Oh my
so
gosh.
they were not along for the ride, Jones. That would have been quite the trip.
It was hard enough with the dogs.
Yeah. I didn't have to deal with the dogs. Robbie had to deal with them the whole way. And we talked about it ahead of time, dude. I don't know why we didn't do this. We talked about switching cars potentially and doing that. But I think we were just so in the zone on the drive the entire way that, we were like fine with both cars we were driving, and we just kept going.
How about the Loves that had all the dog parks? That was pretty cool, huh?
That was necessary because once you got, like, I guess halfway through Nebraska, it was just desert and arid. So our, kind of spoiled, I guess, golden retrievers wouldn't go to the bathroom in the desert because it was just dirt. And then they would sniff something. It was kind of pokey or, with spikes, cactus stuff. And then they just start sneezing and not go to the bathroom. So it had been like 12 hours. I'm like, dude, we got to get to a Love's that has, disgusting dog park areas, but at least there's something.
Oh my gosh.
And I know we're jumping around a little bit, but we are in Reno, the 3rd night, Robbie? And the dogs won't go to the bathroom, and we're out 9:30, 10 o'clock at night in this little dog park in the city. And I'm like the exact opposite of Robbie because I've got Hank. We live in the city. So my dog is used to just going to the bathroom in the middle of the road. And I was telling him this. I'm like, dude, Hank just goes in the middle of the road. I don't know what's wrong with your dogs. He's like, go to the bathroom. I'm like, I'm sitting there too. I'm like, dude, these dogs, why aren't they going to the bathroom? What's going on? And his one dog, Penny, she was great. She went to the bathroom right away. And then his other dog, Rusty. I don't think we ever even mentioned the dog's names.
Sorry.
Rusty, he would not go, did not go until 2 or 3 a.m. that next morning?
Yeah, next morning, early. Mind you, it was also desert night in Reno, right? So it was 45 degrees and so windy. You had to hold your car door or it would just blow. And,
oh my gosh.
Me and Joey, 9:30 at night, go potty, Rusty. Come on. We had driven 13 days, 3 consecutive days. Go potty, Rusty. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. But what do you want me to do? I feel obligated to make sure this dog is comfortable, even though we're bending over backwards for it.
Absolutely. And we hadn't had dinner yet, I don't think, at this point. So we were trying to go get dinner, I think. And so it's funny. But sorry, let's rewind, dude. So he picks him up at the airport first thing. We go to the cars. Like I said, he left the extra car, which was a great idea. We get there and he's like, all right, you're in this car. I'm in this car. Here are the keys. I'm like, all right, why don't you give me a credit card? That way, in case we get separated, we both have cards in case something goes wrong. Because you never know, guys. We're trying to cover all our bases. Yeah. And he's like, all right, you've got the snake. And I'm like, oh, I've got a snake in my car? Didn't know that was happening. And he's like, Courtney did great. She bought us all this stuff. So we each had a 24 pack of assorted chips, a bag of pistachios, a bag of Oreos, a bag of what am I missing, dude?
Peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms.
Crucial.
We each had a 24 case of water in our car, and I think that was it, right?
I think that was it.
That's plenty. That's plenty.
And I'll be honest with you, other than the snake, I knew nothing in the car of what I had until I got to the place, which was kind of funny in the end. But as Robbie said, other than I did see the alcohol in the back because he we were pulling things up. As
You
he has
were-
things
You
out
were
of
a
the back.
bootlegger. You're just
But-
carrying alcohol.
Well,
across
and I
state
didn't know
lines,
that. Did
Joey.
you know that thing? They won't bring your alcohol across state
Yeah.
line. That's the
That's
movers.
wild.
Probably because they'll drink it, right?
Yeah.
So, but he and I hop in the car, and guys, we just drive. And I told them a little bit, Robbie, you and I were on the phone. I was trying to figure out how long you and I were on the phone for throughout the entirety of the trip. I know right away we were on the phone probably for the first like hour and a half, maybe, just like catching up and hanging out, essentially like we were in the car together.
Yeah, that was definitely key. I mean, at first we were catching up like it was, one of our monthly calls or whatever for an hour and a half. And then it was just kind of like we were in the car together because both of us had CarPlay, Apple CarPlay. So it was kind of seamless. If I was bored for a little while, I'm just like, hey Siri, call Joey O'Toole. And then, if he got into a road rager or if I got into a road rager, we were talking about, oh, that person just cut you off or whatever. What's going on? Is she coming after you?
Yeah, because that's the thing. See, I was behind most of the way until the end where I was just like, all right, I'm tired of being in the back. I'm going to go in the front. But and we could talk about you getting pulled over. That also was
Oh,
wild.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we got to that.
But thankfully we're good. Thankfully we're clear. But so I would see Robbie, like some woman like tailgate Robbie or some woman cut him off or something. I'd be like, oh man, he got her good. I'd be like, did you see that? Are you all right? Like it's just stuff like that. So it was neat. But so we hit the road, and the funny part is, I was joking with him a little bit. Like I flew from Pittsburgh. We literally drive in the first 4 hours right by my exit back through Pittsburgh. And that's just the way the road took us. And was logistically how we had to kind of go about getting the car. So that was why it was just kind of funny. I was like, hey man, if we need to run home real quick, we can. So he and I are driving along first day. And what do our goal, that was probably the only day we had something planned, correct, Robbie? We wanted to say, hey, we're going to try to get to Chicago, right?
For the Derby.
Yes, we wanted to watch the Kentucky Derby. That's right. We wanted to watch the Derby in Chicago, which we ended up making. We ended up making it, like barely making it. You unfortunately didn't get to watch it because you had to stay outside with the dogs. We weren't sure, we weren't even sure how to get it.
Wouldn't piss.
Well, we weren't even sure if we could walk in the restaurant with the dogs. So we walk around and we realized, oh, there's this dog area around. And by that time it was going off, and I was trying to order us beers. So I got to see it, and luckily I had the winner. I didn't tell you guys this, but I bet 2 horses and $10 on Mage, and it won. So
oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I had Mage as the winner. I picked my other horse was Cyclone Mischief. I think I finished last. But
what were the odds? How much did you win?
I think I won 160. I think I told you right. I think it was 16-1 or something like that. It won.
I thought it was 10-1. It was 16-1.
Maybe. I don't know.
100, right?
Heck yeah, Joey. Well done.
So yeah, I had Mage as the winner. But so he and I are sitting there. We finally got our first break because, like I said, we just drove. We stopped for gas. Did we stop for food? I don't think we stopped. I guess we stopped for food that day, didn't we? I don't even remember at this point.
We stopped for food, but that day felt really productive because on the East Coast, you're just picking off states. I mean, we're like, oh, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Even Ohio felt short, which is crazy because we did the whole Ohio Turnpike, Indiana, Illinois. That's way more states than we did in any other day, even though it ended up being the shortest of the 3 driving days.
Yeah. Well, I forgot about the turnpike thing. He and I were joking. Every single North, Midwest, North state had a turnpike. It was.
Courtney, did we get that bill? What was the each? It was.
You went through at least 70.
It was easy pass the whole way, so we probably had over $100 of tolls between the 2 cars.
Wow.
I was going to ask you, yeah, what did it cost us?
Through Illinois was a turnpike.
Wow. Yeah.
Holy crap. That's wild.
So yeah, we made it through to pretty much Illinois, and he and I are we don't have a hotel yet. That was another. Probably if we did it again, we probably would be better about getting a hotel ahead of time. But we're on the phone trying to find a hotel that would take dogs. One place told us it was prom night, and we're like, who's sending their kids to a hotel for prom unless
For real, dude.
the hotel had the prom and then the kids I don't know, man. I was like,
this is high school, by the way. People.
For real, what else would you do on prom night? Why is it full of hotels? What are all the parents in Illinois doing?
Yeah, he and I were like, man. I was like, Robbie, this is what you have to look forward to because you've got 4 girls and a boy. And I was like, oh man. I'm on the phone.
If I see a hotel charge on prom night, we're gonna have words.
I'm on the phone with Marriott at one point trying to find this thing. This woman's trying. I was like, hey man, here's where we are. Can you find us a hotel that's dog friendly? I think Courtney at this point might have also started to try to help us potentially. Or maybe we didn't get her involved till the next day, which is what we should have done from the beginning probably. But luckily we found a place, in Joliet, right?
Was that a Motel 6 or was that the Motel 8?
No, that was the Quality Inn.
Yeah, the Quality, because the Motel 6 is what they told us was prom
Quality
night.
Inn, so much better.
Yeah, that was the Quality Inn, Robbie, because we weren't sure if the dogs were allowed. So we were sneaking the dogs in and out the back door on the second floor, nonetheless, to make sure that nobody saw that dogs were in there. But granted, the camera was right above our room as you came out the stairwell. But we're not going in the front door and whatnot. And the dogs were great the whole trip, FYI. They were fantastic, in my opinion. I know towards the end, Robbie was getting annoyed by one of them because it wouldn't stop panting. But so we were there, we stop, and we get lucky. There's karaoke at the bar, which is a favorite pastime.
Unbelievable, Robbie. Let me just say that. And if Joey, I hope he saved that video, because if we posted that reel as a video on Instagram, it would probably go viral. It was so good.
I have them all, and that's what I told Robbie. I showed him. I didn't show him any of the videos till we got to California, and I'm gonna send him all the videos at some point as well. That way he can relive the trip through my eyes, more or less. But yeah, we stopped there. Robbie crushes his normal karaoke song of Your Love by The Outfield. He was a little uneasy. He was like, dude, I sang it on the cruise. I'm done. I'm retired. And I was like, no, dude, you got to do it. You got to do it. Then I don't think he thought I was going to sing karaoke, but I sang 3 songs as well, which I think impressed him, even though I was terrible at it.
Did you get video of this, Robbie?
So.
Oh yeah. I'll send that too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got me too. But again,
great.
I don't usually sing. I sing karaoke, but I don't sing. And I've probably never sung in front of him, to be honest with you. But he crushed it, like I said, in his song. And then I kept telling the bar, I was like, he's the best. He's the best. He's great. And they're all clapping for him at the end. I didn't get many claps. But
I bet Robbie was going nuts for you.
He was. Well,
Supportive.
and dude, remember the guy DJing karaoke gave us nicknames. So
What were they?
Robbie was wearing an Indiana polo. So for some reason, which I don't think we put this together, Chicago is the Bulls, but he would play the Bulls theme song every time Robbie walked up to sing his song.
Yeah.
So I don't think he quite understood that the Bulls aren't in Indiana, but maybe because basketball Indiana, I don't know. Maybe that's what he was going with that theme song. But hilarious. In mine, every time I walked up for Joey, he played the Friends theme song. And then and we had to ask. We didn't quite understand what was going on. But so since Joey was in Friends, the guy kind of correlated. So, but yeah,
that guy was a character.
He was great. He was wonderful.
He was a big dude.
Yeah,
and he sang.
He did. Yes.
Did he have some?
And whenever he sang,
he walked around the bar and sang, left the stage and sang.
Ooh.
With a wireless mic, really belting it out, doing crowd work.
Is there a lot of people there?
No.
Just an empty bar.
No, empty bar. The one bartender, though, was also drinking one drink for every shot she poured. She was drinking one herself, which is awesome. But yeah, we had a solid time at the Quality Inn in Joliet, Illinois.
Wait, before that, when did you go to Culver's? Because we had some requests of you doing the food ratings.
That was the first stop for food. Food.
We had a couple messages that were like, Joey, if you're going to talk about food, you're going to have to give me a score. I can't go to sleep unless you score it.
Let's see. Robbie hasn't seen that video where I actually scored it. But yeah, Robbie was like, dude, you've ever been to Culver's? I was like, not that I can think of. So we stopped at a Culver's was it in Indiana?
That was Indiana.
Yeah. So
as we know, Robbie's a big Indiana guy.
Yeah, right. We each got whatever the smash burger, not a smash burger, what's it called? Butterburger.
Butterburger. Yeah.
We ordered. You got me to order the cheese curds, which were delicious.
You came out with a surprise hit though that I'd never had at Culver's.
The pretzel bites with cheese. Yep, saw those on the menu. You should see me there even ordering. The guy was like, "Look, sir, this is my first time at Culver's." He's like, "All right, here's what you do." It's like, "All right." So that was also that night, Jones. Good memory. I forgot about that because that was Culver's experience. Yeah. So, then what? We woke up the next morning. I don't know. We were up. I think that was the earliest we were up of the 3 days. I could be wrong, but maybe the day before, next day.
Did y'all tie it on pretty good, or what? Did you get into bed early?
No, it was 11-ish, which was an hour back. So I guess it would have been. That was really helpful. Every day we made up an hour, which we basically just turned into sleep.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're right. Yeah, that was probably the latest day we stayed up. And then we got up right away the next morning, man. And every morning, he'll probably tell you the same thing. We got up and went. We showered and like went. Like it wasn't like we dilly dallied. Really didn't do breakfast until we got on the road, kind of thing. Yeah, we hit the road, and honestly, I don't have too much to report from that day. The next day, other than we went through Iowa, Nebraska, which are just like cornfields, guys. Like I couldn't believe how many cornfields there were. It was just cornfield after cornfield after cornfield. We stopped at another Love's, I remember, in Iowa to let the dogs out and go to the bathroom. I think that day too, I ate like crap, man. I think that was the day that I started feeling not great, right? The second night I felt terrible.
Well, Joey, I wanted to make sure Joey was comfortable as best I could. I mean, he's doing me the solid of all solids by participating in this journey.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to him, how you doing, man? Doing great. All right, should we keep going? Yeah, let's keep going. And these are rough states. Iowa was bad, and Nebraska made Iowa look like a scenic paradise. Nebraska is the worst state, I think, in the country. It turned from cornfields into just desert and nothing, and it was flat. But I guess because we were just kind of zonked out, Joey didn't eat. We made it all the way from Joliet to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And about a half hour before we get to Cheyenne, I called Joey expecting the same report. You know, we're only a half hour out from dinner. I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's not good, man. Ready for this stop. Or maybe he just said ready for this. I was like, what do you mean? And he was not good. I don't know if you want to take it from there, but he's
well,
like,
remember we stopped at that half Indian, half gas station restaurant, like right outside Cheyenne. I said gas station, like place. And that's the first place I noticed, like it was 85 gasoline. Remember? I was like, 85. I've never seen that before. But then my head just hurt. Like I just didn't feel 100%. I kept telling him, I was like, dude, I think I'm hungover. You know, I was like, I think I'm hungover, you know, and I was like, no, I don't know what it is. And he kept being like, all right, you sure you're all right? Sure. I was like, I can make it. And we ended up like stopping like 30, 45 minutes right in Cheyenne and got dinner, which even though I ate something, still probably didn't help me because Robbie had like a full meal. He had like a beer, a nice chicken sandwich, and a salad. Meanwhile, I saw bacon cheese fries on the menu, and I'm like firing at those. So I feel like crap, but I'm like,
it's a hungover food, Joey.
Well, I know, but like I feel like crap, and I'm like, all right, this will make me feel better. And it did for a little bit, but I still didn't feel like 110%. Meanwhile, we were thinking about eating outside, but it was still kind of cold and windy, and we wanted the dogs to kind of get out and about. We were like, you know what? We'll just go inside. So we sat at the bar. I think we watched the Nuggets second. Well, it was a game they lost, actually. But we also debated about playing this dice game at the bar. Remember that dice game, dude?
Yeah, it was a total ripoff. They said 3 rolls for $5. And I'm thinking it's like Yahtzee, where you win the house pot, or a roll, $1, whatever. And it turns out you only get one single roll. It's not like you can roll once and save a couple die and then roll again like an actual Yahtzee game. You get one roll. And if you get all 5, you win the pot. It's like, that's never going to happen. Why? We're not playing this. We're not that stupid.
We should have looked up the math on it, but the math is bad. And I think the pot was only like $55 at the time. So someone had won it, but the bartender was like, yeah, I've only seen somebody win it once. And I was like, well, that sounds about right to me. But imagine rolling 5 of the same dice on one roll. That is insane.
Yeah.
But so we stopped shortly after in Laramie and got a first floor. Like we were the first room right around the corner from the like lobby area. And I fell asleep like pretty quickly, dude. I don't think you were still up and about doing things. And I was like, dude, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out for the night, which was huge because I woke up the next morning and felt like $1 million ready to roll. That's when I think at this part of the trip, we started finally seeing like better scenic views, you know, like Wyoming, started seeing some mountains, started like getting out of, I wouldn't call it the desert. Dude. We really weren't ever in the desert until like Wyoming, Nevada, Utah. But
there were tumbleweeds.
Yeah, there were tumbleweeds. Oh, and that night too, we brought the snake in. Remember, it was too cold.
If you have tumbleweeds, you're a desert in my mind.
There were. You were like, look, there's tumbleweeds. There's tumbleweeds.
I don't think I've ever seen a tumbleweed in person.
We did bring the snake into the room that night too. Don't forget, because it was going to be too cold out there.
We never got to see the snake, by the way.
Dude, I told him he was like never out. I think I saw it like once or twice. And even the time when like I got cut off by that woman. Remember I got cut off by that woman and the snake cage went flying in front of me. And I was like, I had to like hold it up because I was like worried about it. The snake pinching or it getting out. I'm going to call it pinching out forever, dude, even though you've already told me the name.
I do too. Sometimes.
Yeah.
That was the name of the
color. By the way, in our group chat, Joey sends us a picture of two bottles filled with yellow liquid of him. He didn't film it or anything, but he pisses in bottles while he drives.
Dude, he did it too, man. We both.
Unbelievable.
I got him on the train. You guys wouldn't believe it, guys. It makes your trip go by so much faster, man. You just keep driving.
I can't fathom how you even do it.
Dude, you just do it. And I've talked about this before on here, Robbie. Like, you just do it, man. Like, it's not
precision.
You gotta have good
is what he's doing.
Like, it worked great, and he probably attests to it. Like, you stop less.
No comment.
Please, we can't talk about that. All right, carry on, Joey. I don't know where you're at in the story, but you got about 8.
But we started to see the most beautiful sights I've ever seen in my life. Definitely while driving. I drove over Greenland one time, or flew over Greenland. But like driving, absolutely. You look to the right and you've got like fields and windmills, which is kind of cool, right? But then you look to the left, you've got snow-covered mountains off in the distance that you eventually just drive right next to. You've got cliffs, and over there they don't protect the cliffs, which is kind of sketchy. Like when you drive through West Virginia on 64, they've got those big mesh nets. Well, these cliffs were definitely higher and steeper, but no nets. It's like, is there a rock going to come down? But it was just unbelievable landscape. And that's when the drive I thought was the best. Coming out that third day, the first half of the third day through Utah, like out of Cheyenne west, and the Rocky Mountains are south of you, Denver's south of you, which is to the left. And then you keep driving into Utah, Salt Lake City, which is unbelievable.
And y'all stopped in Salt Lake, right?
I did. He kept driving because I just wanted to see where the Jazz played, man. I was like, dude, I'm going to spend 5 minutes. That's what I did. I think I got behind him by about 10, 15 miles. That's the other thing. He and I were never like that far apart other than that time probably. But real quick, to backtrack, we didn't talk about you getting pulled over real quick.
Oh, in Wyoming.
Yeah.
So we're doing 7 miles over on cruise control, no matter the speed limit, right? 55, we saw all the way up to 80. We're doing 7 over. And I see a cop pull out in front of me in Wyoming. And I was going 82 because it was 75. And I slow it down to like 79, 78. And he's driving. So he's driving in front of me like a quarter mile. And I'm behind him. And I think he was slowing down. In hindsight, I think he was slowing down. And eventually, I'm like, listen, I'm going 78. I'm just going. I'm going to pass him.
And he was. I can attest that, by the way. I was behind him, so I saw it all.
So I pass him, and immediately lights come on. I don't think he turned his sirens on. So I'm like, what? I was on the phone with Courtney. And I'm like, I'm getting pulled over. I gotta hang up. So I pull over. He comes up immediately. Comes up on the passenger side, kind of startles me. The dog barks, and he said, "Hey, I got you for speeding." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Are you serious?" I didn't say, "Are you serious?"
You're going 78 to 75.
Meanwhile. Yeah. So I figure in hindsight, well, he ends up just giving me a warning, which was great. Thank you, officer. In hindsight, I definitely think he was profiling me as a weed runner because I'm driving a van, Virginia plates. He's like, because that's going into California, where I've learned from a friend that they have a big problem of inversion instead of like diversion from pharmacy. Inversion because the weed farmers don't make a lot of money because of all the regulations. So they bring in illegally grown weed and sell it in California where it's legal, or Nevada or whatever. And and that had to have been it, because I figure if you pull someone over for going 3 over the speed limit, you're either trying to flex and you're a big pompous jerk, one of those. And he was not. He was like very matter of fact and, polite as you can be giving someone a ticket. Or he's looking for something, right? Because he didn't give me an actual ticket. He gave me a warning. So that's my suspicion in hindsight.
Good thing you had the dogs and not the snake, because you probably would have got a ticket.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Oh, this dude's for sure bringing it in."
But yeah, so sorry, we backtracked a little bit. So the next day, it's just beautiful views through Utah. Was gorgeous. The Salt Lake, we saw a bunch of salt stuff, which I didn't realize was even like a thing. And then we pull into Nevada, and right as you pull into Nevada, like casino at, I can't remember what town that was, but we stopped. Each of us got what? You got Burger King, I got Arby's. But you walk into this gas station, and it's a gas station casino combo. So that was hilarious. You seeing people degenerately just banning the button in the casinos.
I'm sure you probably stopped it and did that.
Joey's wet dream here.
I
Joey
thought about it, guys. I thought
comes out of there won $1,000.
But we were on a mission, so I did not. We did not do that, thankfully, because that would have sidetracked us big time. You're right.
You watched slots in the gas
I did
station.
watch. I watched some guys do it at the One Love stop. You're exactly right. That one guy hit a bonus when I was watching. So we
I'd
did
get 2 beef and cheddars and 100 on red.
They're all slots, dude. All slots.
All slots.
But so he and I just kept driving. And again, like we said, we didn't have a plan until that morning. We were like, all right, let's see how far we can go. Let's have a goal of getting to here. So it was like Cheyenne, Laramie, Wyoming the next day. And then this next day was Reno. So Courtney had also started helping us at this point and booked us this really nice, like dog-friendly hotel in downtown Reno, Nevada, the little biggest city in the world.
The biggest little city.
Yeah, the biggest little city in the world. I'm sorry, I'm saying this backwards. Jones, what do we got on time?
3.5 minutes.
Okay. So, but funny story about that. After we did the dogs, as we talked about earlier, Robbie and I go out to a dinner at a nice Italian restaurant, one of the casinos. And the guy sits down, waiter comes over to us, and the first thing he asks us, "Oh, you guys here for the bowling tournament?" We're like, "There's a bowling tournament going on?" And we're like, "No, we're not here for that." Well, guys, funny story. There's always like the national bowling tournament is always in Reno and Las Vegas. And about a decade and a half ago, I was out in Las Vegas with one of my buddies' uncle who was out there for this same bowling tournament. So it was just really funny. And I need to call him and tell him that, because there's actually the National Bowling Hall of Fame is in Reno, Nevada. And we drove right by where it is. So we stayed in this nice dog hotel, dog friendly. He and I got a
that's
steam. Cool. We got a sauna. I almost posted a sauna video of us guys, but I did not. I got his permission, but I did not. That would have
been hot.
Dude, so it would have been funny, but I exercised some caution, didn't send it out to the masses. But from there, guys, we got the next morning. And Robbie, tell them real quick about the scene we saw at that gas station. We didn't talk about this to the people, man, real quick.
Yeah, remind me, refresh my memory here.
The motorcyclist, dude. The motorcyclist we saw who had just gotten in a wreck.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sorry. So as we pull into a gas station, there's just a motorcyclist laying down in the rock. And Nevada's a rough state. It was 80 miles an hour basically the whole way, with unbelievable wind gusts. So driving the van was just a white knuckling experience. It was not easy coming out from behind those 18-wheelers and getting blown by wind. So I don't know why, but this guy, I guess, in a motorcycle was driving so fast that he crashed into like riprap rocks. It was laying past it. Someone had their cell phone over his face. I was on the phone with Harvey at the time, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to go. Do we have to like call an ambulance? Because there wasn't any.
Jeez.
And it didn't show. We stopped and got gas, and people were already there kind of attending to them. And you kept asking me, should we go help? And I was like, dude, there are people there. Nothing we can do. And I've unfortunately been in a bad accident. So like, I know a little bit. I feel like I have experience with it. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it's like, you don't need that many people. You need like 2 or 3 people to help, and like, you just move on. But it was kind of surreal. Like, we pull up on this gas station. Holy crap! There's a freaking guy lying in like the brush.
Yeah.
But from there though, and Robbie can attest to this. Like, it was beautiful. We were like in the mountains at this point of like
Tahoe.
Of Tahoe in California, and it was gorgeous. Like, I just can't describe. I looked up once on the left side of this mountain, dude, and like there's just this train, like in the snow, like it's still snowy up there, just driving. Like, I was like, that's gorgeous. Like, just awesome views. At one point, I jokingly told him there's a 40% or a 5% downgrade for 40 miles. And I was like, holy. So
you see this the Polar Express, then a half hour later you're in palm trees.
Yes.
All right, we got about just a few seconds here, but this has been great, by the way. And Robbie, we so appreciate your time, man. I know you're super busy, getting settled in and everything, and your new job. And congratulations, by the way, big deal. Glad you all made it safe and hilarious trip.
Thanks. Least I could do for Joey. Thanks again, Joey, man.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. We had a blast. Dude. I'll send you those videos sometime this week. You're gonna enjoy them.
All right, and you'll get the karaoke video too of you.
All right, thanks.
Please send